Hi, I'm Nancy Martinez. I'm the Director of the Independent Retail Customer Channel and Marketing here at LBR Roses, and welcome to LBR Talks, where we talk about business and leadership nuggets to help elevate and enhance your floral business. In my episode today, I had a conversation with Sandy Schreck, and Sandy is our Education Coordinator here at LBR Roses. So what Sandy shares is her perspective of 2 things that you can do that can easily elevate your business. So to get her insight and her ideas, let's go to my conversation with Sandy. Hi, and welcome to LBR Talks. I am your host, Nancy Martinez, and today in our episode we have our Education Coordinator, Sandy Schreck.
Hi, everybody.
Sandy, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you here because what we're going to do is take 2 of what you think are really important things that can help enhance and elevate any floral business, share it with the audience here with some specific examples of an event that we just had. So I kind of had a teaser of what those are. So what do you really think from your perspective as some, like the 1-2 punch that can really elevate someone's business?
Well, really focusing on continuing education is number 1. So be willing to change. Try new products, get exposed to new products, new techniques, and ways of doing things that are updated, and so that you can stand out above the competition. And then develop that network of the people that are like-minded, that believe in the power of education as well, and network together and kind of create that own synergy of people surrounding you that have the same beliefs as you.
Yeah, that's perfect. And when we decided to do our Reconnect Floral Fest, we really got the idea from our customers, and it came from our LBR floral community. So thank you. They're, I think, hungry to see people again and be educated again and be in person. So is really important. And I love the way you started our Reconnect when you talked with the group, or actually any class. You were like, look around you. Yeah. Look at the people around you. And those are the people, you are part of the people that want to grow and be better and really elevate your businesses.
Yeah, that focusing on success and being willing to come in and, sometimes it's intimidating to come into a hands-on class. We had multiple levels that were here, but we started off the class kind of talking about mechanics. And then broke into groups, and then everybody kind of did hands-on. So you work next to somebody that you hadn't met before, and everybody, the whole creation of the projects, we had 16 projects that we did, and it just came out amazing. And it was so fun to see afterwards. People were so proud of what they did. But we really created a lot of settings that could be used for weddings and events. And then to see the customers coming together and they're taking photos of themselves with their projects and creating that Instagram moment. And that's really one of the new trends too. So we talked about some trends and some selling ways to sell, to be able to think about selling that Instagram spot. And then seeing those guys come together and seeing it on social media, it just all enveloped a great energy.
Yeah, it sure did. So what I understand what you're saying is the mechanics is super important because they're learning the new things, what's important to execute, to understand the trends and the colors and what's hot and new. So even just if we just did that, those nuggets were so powerful and amazing.
Yeah. Well, because you have brides coming to you with Pinterest boards that kind of sometimes you don't know exactly how to execute, but having some of those mechanics in your pocket to figure out, then you feel like you can know how to price things out and execute it successfully and be able to do that. And we also talked about some of the trend colors that we see coming on. Vibrance was a bright color mix, and then we have nostalgia, that was kind of that dusty tones, the lavender, peaches with the brown influence, and then lastly that green tone on tone, just textural, scrumptious look that came together. That table turned out amazing, as did all the projects, but once we broke out, each one got a little bit of instruction, but then they really did their own interpretation of my ideas, and it turned out amazing.
Yeah, so that second part where we broke out was the hands-on. And not only did they need to work on it based on your vision, but have really a stranger, right? I mean,
Yep.
They weren't paired with people that they knew, but you paired them with somebody different so they could learn from each other and work together to create.
Yeah.
Which was very unique, I think, and very good, because I think a point you made was, if you're doing an event, you're going to need to pull in whoever you can to help you, and you're going to need to know how to work with many different types of people.
Right. And to be able to, execute the vision of somebody else. There's always going to be a planner that's going to have a vision of it overall, and then you need to execute. And some of that is done preparation in the shop, and some of it is done on site. So we kind of had two sections set up. One was like, this is what you would prepare in the shop, and then you would go to the on-site for installation. So we had really some great exposure to some of those techniques.
Yeah, I really appreciated that you had the different color palettes, because I'd walk by a group working on the vibrant, I'm like, oh, that's my favorite. And then I'd walk by the nostalgic, I'm like, oh, but that's my favorite. And then you have the greens, and I was like, oh, and now that's my favorite. So all of them beautiful in their own right, and it was really fun to see how different something can look in a different color palette.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Okay, so people got to work together, and we also made time for networking. So really for people just to collaborate, to talk and introduce themselves, and talk a little bit about how that evolved throughout the day.
Yeah, kind of as soon as everybody finished their projects, we cleaned up. And then what we did as a group, we went around to each project. And the people that did that project introduced themselves and the shop and the city that they were from. So it just brought awareness of the variety of people that were there working together, and they were proud of what they did. And we went through some of the things that might have been a little bit of challenges with it, and other things that went really well, and just the great job that they did interpreting the vision on it. And so then that kind of introduced people to start talking, and got the conversation going about the pieces, and they questioned what been different or how they would have done it, and so it just got them talking. And following that, we had like a happy hour, and people really just started connecting, and looking at other things that they can do to advance their careers.
Yeah. And just the questions and answers and the connections that happened, you could see it just pick up throughout the whole day and just continually evolve. And we're telling you this because the importance of that networking, these bonds that were created, they didn't want them to end when the night ended. So
the group, once we finished the tour, asked if they could get everybody's emails and shops so that they can keep in contact and send orders potentially to that shop and things like that, and start forming that network of people that are interested in continuing education and really improving their own successes.
Yeah, that was great. So awesome. I mean, and you get that kind of thing when you have a in-person type event. So whenever you can, I mean, and totally understand that everybody's schedules are busy, and it truly is an investment in your time. But I mean, if you think about it as an investment that you will reap the benefits, I think that's kind of a good mindset to have. If you didn't go, and don't worry, I mean, we're going to have other in-person, right, events coming up in the future. So just kind of keep that in mind when you see more come available. And I would just really glean on participating when you can. The other opportunity is we do Zoom, right? Yeah. So that's also an opportunity. In Sandy, you lead some Zoom events that we do. So workshops.
We do LBR Shares that talks through some things that flower shops are doing behind the scenes to remain successful and to kind of compete in our marketplace. And then we share those on the LBR Floral Community, which is another resource where we see some of these people that are attending this and some that haven't, asking questions of other people, advice. So what it does is starts building that network of your people so that you don't feel alone. And that's really kind of the bottom line. You know, we're all in our shops and busy, but being able to have somewhere that you can go to kind of network together really is a way to continue to be successful.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said. I mean, having been a former shop owner, not in the floral industry, but when you're your own business owner, it's not hard to feel like you're alone in what you're doing. And I think having that network in that community gives you this feeling of belonging to a greater group or a bigger group, and you have that sounding board. So it's really priceless at that point.
Yeah.
So we have the LBR community, the Facebook community, where you can write and tell stories. Oh, you know what? You don't just have to ask questions, but sharing stories. Let me tell you, there's some of you that are really good at it. And just being able to read those and go, oh my gosh, I'm glad someone else went through that. Or I know I can get through this customer or this customer type because you did, and this is how you responded, and we're able to, get through a situation. Or just sharing successes on there is really fun to see, right?
Yep.
So we have that, and then we have, the virtual education and virtual networking.
Yep. Yeah, and then the
shares.
YouTube channels that have this on business advice, new product previews, and LBR Educates that has tools that you can use to train your employees and all kinds of things.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways for you to get your education, a lot of ways for you to get your networking. And just by investing some time in doing that is really, it's really going to elevate who you are as a business owner, who your shop is, and who your brand is to your customers. Because you can, like you said, stand out because you know just a little more than maybe the next person who didn't invest in their time. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for a successful reconnect to enhance all these skills. Thank you for coming on the show today and sharing.
You're welcome. It was great.
Customers. Yeah. And thank you for joining us today. And so we will see you next time. Another great episode. I'm thankful that Sandy was here to share with you a little bit on why continuous education is so important, the different ways that she approaches it and how you can benefit from it. And then that added component of if you get to be hands-on and work with another person, what kind of networking and bond you can create that could actually create friendships for a lifetime. So really appreciate Sandy's time here. So let's go to my quote now, and it's from none other than Bill Nye the Science Guy, and he says, "Everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't." pretty profound. But it really relates to that networking component, and with networking we can really learn from others. So we will have a download of this for you. Go ahead and download it, post it, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of LBR Talks, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.